I call these storyline points, and here's what I do with them. Every single game that each player contributes to, those players each get a storyline point. And then the one who wins the player of the game vote gets an additional storyline point. When a player has accumulated 5 storyline points, they get to trade those in for either a free magic item in-game or an in-game, like they get to do something with their sidekicks. Like I have one player who recruited a sidekick, a goblin sidekick, but he wants to turn this goblin sidekick into an official follower so they get the bonus stats, and because he wants to start him down a paladin route serving the same god he serves. So he's going to use his 5 storyline points to accomplish this. Hello friends, welcome back to Gym Philosophy in the Morning. I'm the Gym Philosopher, and today we got to talk about 5 things to do after the game if you really want to keep your games going for a long time. When you're running paid games, I've been running paid games on StartPlaying, which if you want to see my listings, you can check the description. But I've been running paid games for a while now, and I've realized that following up after the games are going to keep your players around longer. It's going to keep those, basically the longevity of your campaigns longer. I don't know if you've ever had players like join and quit, or if you've had trouble, campaigns fizzling out over time. But friend, whether you're running paid games or unpaid games, if you want to keep your campaigns going for a long time, you want to keep your D&D games together for longer, keep your players there, keep them invested, keep them wanting more, then this is the video for you. So let's dive right into it. Here's the first tip, guys. Number 1. Here's the first thing I do whenever I get done with a D&D session. Number 1, I actually go back and I evaluate it from a strategic perspective. So did I do a good job with spotlight time? Do I do a good job with story beats? In every session, did something change? Was there a shift, right? I want to make sure that all the sessions served a valuable purpose, or every scene served a valuable purpose. I want to make sure that in every scene, there was some clarifying clue, or a discovery was made, or a conflict happened, or a decision was made, or a decision was kind of forced or pressured, right? I don't always like to force or pressure decisions, but in every single scene, we want to make sure that something changed. And this is kind of part of that advice Stephen King gave us about writing. Make sure there's conflict on every page. You want to make sure there's conflict in every scene, right? And so that's the first thing I do, and I evaluate it. And the reason I do this is because I want to get better the next session. So I evaluate everything I've been doing, okay? Number 2, the second thing I do, I get the transcript from the game. Okay, now I don't know if you record your games to get the transcripts to get awesome notes, but awesome session notes are actually pretty important, especially if you're running paid games, guys. So what you want to do is I use Discord and Craigbot, and then I subscribe to the Craigbot Patreon so I can get automatic written transcriptions. And they're awesome because they have like literally each person and then what they said, and it has a log for the entire session. So what I'll do is I'll go grab that transcription and I'll put it into ChatGPT and I'll create awesome session notes with that. So this is the second thing I do is I use it to create awesome session notes. I make sure those notes are correct. And then I post the raw session notes, like the raw transcript, and I post my, created session notes in the chat so that the players have access to it. I want them to be able to go back and see the notes if they want to. This is just something like basic courtesy, but also it can build on keeping them engaged, excited about the next session. I think this is really important nowadays, okay? The next thing I'll do, and this is actually really interesting, this is kind of a new thing I'm just sharing for the first time, but what I'll do is I will use, when I'm putting the transcript into ChatGPT to analyze it and create me good session notes, what I'll also do is I'll ask ChatGPT, hey, analyze every single character's contributions to the story and let me know during this session what their most meaningful contributions were. Like, I want to hear what ChatGPT thinks. Like, I have my favorite sessions or my favorite scenes. I'm sorry, I keep saying sessions instead of scenes. I know what my favorite scenes were that the players were in, but I want to hear what ChatGPT has to say, okay? So when ChatGPT tells me, sometimes I'll agree, sometimes I won't agree, but this will give me a little more data that I will then use to go, and this is the next thing I do, I will write a little note for each character and I'll put it in the chat and I'll be like, here are my session notes, guys. Like, and I will basically give them feedback where I'll tell them the best thing I think their character did that session and what I loved about it. And this is, I think, really good because there's a part of this that's about giving gratitude to our players, acknowledgement for their great role play and story contribution. So I really love to do this. And I think that this creates happiness. I think this makes players feel special, which they should. The currency of gratitude is very powerful. If you want people to continue to engage with you in life, no matter what you're doing, being grateful and showing gratitude to the people who, basically go along with you in that is very important. And so that's another thing that I do after every session to really make it pop, make it, feel like they were an important part of it and that I value them in that. Now, with that being said, it's not all about what happens after the session. Sometimes it's about creating that emotional resonance and keeping your players engaged as a result of running awesome emotionally resonant sessions. And that is what my book is all about. If you haven't grabbed my book yet, The Advanced Art of TTRPG Game Mastery, grab that. Advanced tactics, philosophy, insights for the experienced GM. I've been running games for over 24 years, and this book is the best thing I've ever written for TTRPGs. 24 years of gaming wisdom packed into 50 pages to help you learn how to run emotionally resonant games that will keep your players come back and wanting more. It's still available for a low introductory price. Make sure you grab that. It will be available for that price for a limited time, friends. So don't neglect that. Make sure you grab that to crank up the value of your next session. Okay. Now, that being said, here's another thing that I do after every single session. I post a poll in the Discord. This is kind of like a player feedback thing, but it's for the other players. Let me explain. I post a poll in the Discord so that every single player can vote on who they think the player of the game was. And then I set this poll for 3 days. After 3 days, the winner, the player who got the most votes, they get a storyline point. I call these storyline points. And here's what I do with them. Every single game that each player contributes to, right? So for every session, those players each get a storyline point. And then the one who wins the player of the game vote gets an additional storyline point. When a player has accumulated 5 storyline points, they get to trade those in for either a free magic item in-game or an in-game, like they get to do something with their sidekicks. Like I have one player who recruited a sidekick, like a goblin sidekick, but he wants to turn this goblin sidekick into an official follower so they get the bonus stats, and because he wants to start him down a paladin route serving the same god he serves. So he's going to use his 5 storyline points to accomplish this in the next session, basically make the goblin into a follower of the paladin, basically kind of like forcing a story element that he wants to see happen, right? Other characters have traded these in for magic items that they wanted. Sometimes they homebrew magic items. Sometimes they'll trade them in for homebrew features or something like that. But anyway, storyline points help them to turn their amazing contributions into a way to alter the story, alter the arc, alter the in-game rewards they get. And I think this is really awesome. This has been a very well-received thing, and people get really excited about it. So that's another thing I do after every single session. And finally, I just want to let you know another thing that I do that I think you should do. And this might come as a little unexpected, but I want you to pat yourself on the back after you've run a session. Friend, as a GM, your job is a bit of a thankless job. If you're running paid games, you're getting paid for it, obviously. But we still want to know that we're doing a good job. We still want to be appreciated. Sometimes players don't always show this, but I can tell you from experience that just because players don't always show you this gratitude, it doesn't mean they don't feel great gratitude toward you. It doesn't mean they're not thankful for you. Sometimes they just don't know how to say it, or they're tired after the session, or they got busy things to do in busy life, and then life catches up. And then before you know it, they have not given feedback, and you might be left feeling like, man, did I not do a good job? Why is no one saying anything? But I want you to understand today that you deserve gratitude for running the session and doing your best. If you showed up and you did your best, even if the session didn't go perfectly, friend, you're doing a great job, and you're doing a great service to keeping this hobby alive for the other humans who are engaging in it with you. And it's a very valuable service, and it's a very valuable thing that you do. And so know that I am grateful to you for keeping it going, because I think TTRPGs are important. This is a way we create intellectual art with our friends and with people we like and care about. We create intellectual ephemeral art, creating the stories of these amazing characters. And this is a valuable thing that we get to engage in that keeps our creativity high. It's exciting. It's magical. And so I want to personally say you should feel good about yourself. Now, I also want you to join the GM Philosophy Discord. Links in the description. We talk about this a lot in there, among other things, always having interesting conversations. It's free to join. We're at almost 600 GMs right now. And listen, sometimes it helps to just drop some of these thoughts in the Discord, get some feedback on it. Let other people know how you feel. Other GMs will chime in, and that is sometimes a great way to deal with those feelings of not knowing if you're doing a good job. I would love for you to join us in there, guys. But at the end of the day, even if you don't join us, I want you to know that you should feel good about yourself because you are doing something important. And I don't want you to give up. Keep on going, because every single game, if we try to get a little bit better, before you know it, you're going to be a master GM running games that your players are going to be like, what the heck? This is so amazing. I love this. That's what you're going to be able to look forward to if you keep on going, you keep evolving, you keep developing your craft. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button to keep on seeing content like this to help you do it, friends. I'm here with you. Let's make every single game better. Let's make this hobby better. Let's move forward into the future, making TTRPG something truly special. I'm the GM Philosopher. This has been GM Philosophy in the Morning. Roll some D100s for me at your next game, friends, and I will see you on the next one.